Hi, I'm Ravishan and today I'm going to be sorting Disney princesses into Hogwarts houses. So just to clarify, I have got a few princes in here, but it's kind of Disney princesses with select princes that I specifically love and just really wanted to talk about. I'm the kind of person who I need to know someone's Hogwarts house. When you go on a date, some people will ask, like, I don't know what they'll ask, I don't know what happens on dates. But I'm the kind of person who will ask, what Hogwarts house are you? Because it's really how I analyse a character. But anyway, that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be sorting Disney princesses into Hogwarts houses. And you guys can also share below what you think, if you agree, if you disagree. And it'll be really interesting to see where you disagree and where you agree and all of that. I'm going to be doing these in chronological order. So the first princess I'm going to start on is Snow White. I'd say Snow White is a Hufflepuff because she's really, really caring. She's loyal. She's very tenacious. And she's very good-willed. I can't think of her in any other house because there's nobody out there who goes to a house, meets 7 men essentially, and just decides, yes, I'm gonna care for you, and yes, I'm gonna be this amazing, like, genuine, caring, loyal, and lovely person. Like, nobody does that apart from a really ditzy Hufflepuff. The next one is Cinderella, and I also put her as Hufflepuff because she's very similar to Snow White in a lot of ways because they really created their princesses off this kind of anti-feminist ideals at the time. For example, all Aurora did was sleep in that film. Like, there really is nothing to her apart from being saved by a man. They really made their princesses around a patriarchal society, which is depressing but true. And it's kind of depressing to say this, but I feel like dimmed down to it, a lot of this like imagery of women of their time was very much a Hufflepuff image because women were expected to be loyal, just, fair, kind, but in the way that it made men happy, and they were expected to be hardworking. It's very much that Hufflepuff trait, but thrown onto a woman and forced onto a woman, but that's all you see of her, so there's really not much you can say. Also, I would put her in Hufflepuff because despite everything that gets thrown at her, she's still so lovely to her stepmom and her stepsisters. Nobody is like that apart from a Hufflepuff, so she's definitely a Hufflepuff. Now onto Aurora, who I obviously have to speak about her because she's one of the Disney princesses, she's one of the official Disney princesses, but she only has 18 lines in the entire film. I bet you guys are gonna guess exactly what I'm gonna say. She's a Hufflepuff. How do you put her into any other house when she doesn't even speak? She has 18 lines and she sings a song. Where else do you put her apart from what women were forced to be at the time? So I can't even say much else, just she's a Hufflepuff. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm offending myself because I'm a Hufflepuff, but she's a Hufflepuff. I feel like if realistically we had more about them that wasn't just what Disney at the time was showing us because of society at the time, then maybe I feel like Aurora could be a Gryffindor and Cinderella could probably be a good Slytherin and Snow White maybe even a Ravenclaw, but I feel like they're all Hufflepuffs because of those imageries and ideals thrusted upon them. I hate that word. Why did I decide on the word thrusted? We're sticking with it. Next to talk about is Ariel, who is the first one in this list when it comes to chronologically that I feel like isn't a Hufflepuff. I considered it, I really did. I was just like, she feels like a Hufflepuff, but that was very much coming from her relationship with animals, which I feel like isn't really something you can argue when it comes to Disney because every single one of their characters seems to have a relationship with animals. So I feel like using it as a reason for putting them in a house doesn't work. So instead I decided to go for Gryffindor. The reason I decided to go for this is because she's so brave. I mean, the fact that she like left her home and went into a whole nother world is such a brave thing to do and kind of stupid, which is what Gryffindors are. They're stupidly brave. And she's also very honest and genuine, and she's prone to living in the moment. She really, really loves to live in the moment, which I think is a very Gryffindor trait. It could be argued that it's a bit of a Hufflepuff trait, but I feel like Gryffindors, more than any, kind of forget about the future and the past. They just live in the moment and they really love the present, whilst Hufflepuffs can become obsessed with the past and Ravenclaws think a lot about the future, and so do Slytherins, but in a different way. Next on our list is Belle from Beauty and the Beast, who I love so much. Beauty and the Beast was probably my favourite Disney princess film growing up. Actually, I prefer the live action. It makes me sob so much. They did it so well and I just think it's so beautiful, and fucking Emma Watson. She was perfect for Belle. I felt like it fit because Belle is Hermione in so many ways, and for that reason, I'm actually going to put her in Ravenclaw. I did consider putting her in Gryffindor because I saw a lot of Hermione in her, but I feel like apart from her bravery, a lot of the reason that Hermione is in Gryffindor is because it was easier for J.K. Rowling to write her that way, because it's easier to have the three main characters who are always working together in the same house. Realistically, Hermione should have been a Ravenclaw, and that's why I'm putting Belle as a Ravenclaw, because they are practically the same person, and I'm not just saying that because Emma Watson played both of them. Also, Belle is intelligent, also fond of learning. She really just wants to know everything. She's also very curious. Belle is also analytical, and she's more of an observer than a participator. She's also very accepting and good-hearted and well-rounded and extremely giving. I feel like she really is a Ravenclaw. I can't argue any other house, actually. Alright, now on to the film Aladdin, where I actually have put Aladdin into a house as well because I couldn't stop myself. He's my Disney prince. I love him so much. In a lot of ways, I prefer the live action. Because I grew up with the original, I can't tell you I prefer the live action because the original will always be what I remember as a child, but the live action was so good and they did it so well. And yeah, you can never be Robin Williams, but Will Smith is such a good genie, and you can't tell me it's not a good film. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a little bit stupid. Yeah, it looked like a bloody laundry advert when they were doing Prince Ali, but it was a very good film. It was very funny. The whole jam scene was hilarious, and Jasmine is the best feminist princess of them all, and I loved her feminist plot. So the live action is very good and could be argued is in many ways better than the original. Don't attack me. Don't attack me. That's the tea. Now that we're over that rant, I'm gonna say that Jasmine's a Slytherin. That was one I didn't really need to think about. Like, she is such a fucking Slytherin. I feel like Slytherin is really the house for activists. And the reason I say this is because activists are so focused on what they believe in that they will do anything to get there. And that is really what Jasmine is like. She's so focused, especially in a live action, on being able to mold the world into what she believes it should be, which is a more female-friendly world and less patriarchal. She would do anything to get there. She won't let anyone get in her way. And that's something I really love about Jasmine, is she has a male interest, but it's very much that guy has to suit her imagery. It's not she will let him change her. It's that he has to be exactly what she deserves. She was very much like that in the original, and it's something I really, really appreciate about her character. I'd also say she's ambitious, she's driven, again focused on goals. She's realistic, but also in an idealistic way, and this one's going to take me a bit to explain. But the reason I'd say this is she's very realistic about what the world is. She knows that she's overpowered by the patriarchal society. She knows that there's not much she can do to change that, but she's so idealistic that there is a world where she can be what she believes. Her realism really comes up in her idealism, which is crazy because they are literally complete opposites of each other. But if you understand what I mean, you can really see that, and I feel like that is such a Slytherin thing. I don't know what just happened, but something happened next door. She's also very charming, and she's self-reliant, and she's very independent. She's also loyal, but in the Slytherin sense. She's very, very loyal, but only when it suits her, and she's very headstrong and a little bit stubborn. And Aladdin, he's a Hufflepuff. Try telling me any different. He's loyal, he cares, he's fair, he's just. I'm sorry, I'm not even going too much into detail with this. He's a Hufflepuff. Try and tell me different. The next one is Pocahontas, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know much about Pocahontas because I haven't seen it in so long. She's a Ravenclaw, and the reason I say that is because she's analytical and she's intelligent and she's curious. At the same time, I can't tell you too much because I haven't seen that film in years and I can't really remember much about her. And another one I haven't seen in a long time is Mulan, and that sounds really bad that those two, because they are the most underrated Disney princess films, hands down. But I do remember a little bit more about Mulan than I do Pocahontas, and I have a lot of friends who are really into Mulan. If I were to put her into a house, and you guys may disagree, I would put her into Gryffindor. You can't tell me she's not the bravest of the princesses. The fact that she is willing to change her entire lifestyle so that she can fight, I feel like that is just bravery in a whole new sense. I just feel like only a Gryffindor has that kind of bravery. I mean, other houses you can get people with that much bravery, but if we're going typically, she's a Gryffindor. And another reason I'd also put her there is she's very experience orientated and she's also very practical. Okay, next on the list is Tiana, and Princess and the Frog is such a beautiful film and it's so underrated and more people need to watch it and talk about it, and Tiana is amazing, and yes. I just wanted to make that very clear. I love this film so much and I love her so much, and I'm so excited for Ariel to be played by a black woman because black girls need more princess representation. Okay, continuing. The reason I'd put her in Slytherin is because she's driven, she's focused on her goals, she's ambitious, she's extremely charming, and she's also cunning. Next film is Tangled, which I really, really love. I love Tangled so much. So I'm also going to say Flynn Rider for this one because I love Eugene so much. Him and Aladdin are just on another level. I love them. For Rapunzel, I would say she's a Ravenclaw. I feel like I'm calling her a Ravenclaw because she is basically Luna. Based on her exterior, I'd say she's a Hufflepuff, but when you get to know her more and when you really look at what she is like, she is such a Ravenclaw. She's so fascinated by the world around her and she loves learning, and she's brave but in a Ravenclaw way, and she's quite practical despite being a little bit ditzy. I just feel like she is basically Luna in the world of Disney, and Luna is a Ravenclaw. I cannot tell you that Luna is any other house because people who believe she should be a Hufflepuff are wrong, and for that same reason people who believe that Rapunzel should be a Hufflepuff are wrong. She is a Ravenclaw. Next on the list is Flynn Rider. As I said, I had to talk about him. I love Eugene so much. At first you feel like he's a Slytherin because he very much gives off this I'm a bad boy exterior, which is very much shown through the typical Slytherin. Like if you were to go down to the typical of what people believe a Slytherin is, he really fits that. He's quite ambitious. He's a little bit stupid in his ambition. He has this belief that everything is his for the taking. But as the film goes on and you learn more about him, and as you learn like his name and everything like that, you really learn that he's actually a Hufflepuff and he is the softest guy in the world. He is such a softie and I love him so much. That guy's the biggest fucking Hufflepuff in the world. The reason I'm going to say that is because he's so friendly, he's so loyal, he's so adorable, he's kind of a ditz, which I will be honest with you, us Hufflepuffs are kind of ditzy, but yeah, he's a Hufflepuff. Brave. I haven't seen Brave for a while because I very much do sway towards the musical films, but I do love Brave and I love Merida and she's adorable. We love a Scottish princess. We love a girl who don't need no prince. Yeah, bitch. There is one reason why I put Merida as a Gryffindor, and I'm not going to say anything else because you can't tell me anything else because this reason overpowers everything. It's because she throws herself into so many stupid situations because she's stupidly brave with no preparation, which is what Harry and Ron do through the entirety of the Harry Potter series. And that is literally the biggest Gryffindor trait out there. Like, how stupid can one person be? I mean, I understand why she does it. All she wants to do is save her mum, but she's a Gryffindor. You can't tell me any different. And if you do and you successfully make me believe that, then good on you. On to Frozen, and I'm so excited for Frozen 2. You guys don't understand. And Frozen 3 because we're finally got a lesbian fucking princess. If they're doing what they said they would. Elsa is a lesbian, and please do the representation right because I will be so upset if you don't. Oh my god, please Disney, don't fuck this up. Elsa's a Gryffindor. There's a lot of people out there who believe that Elsa's a Gryffindor, but a lot of people who don't like putting her as Gryffindor because they are so set in their belief that she is a Slytherin, which I understand in many ways, but I don't know, I just feel like she's a Gryffindor. It's a hard one to explain. Like, I could put her in Slytherin and I would very easily argue it, but I'm just leaning more towards Gryffindor, and I don't really know why. I mean, I think she's courageous, she's daring, and she runs away from her problems, and she's not very practical, while while Slytherins are more likely to run towards their problems. All of them are kind of like mixed Slytherin and Gryffindor traits, so I guess you could put her in both, but I'm gonna put her in Gryffindor, and I cannot tell you why. And also I have to talk about Princess Anna, obviously, because even though Elsa is a queen, we recognise her as a princess, and obviously we recognise Anna as a princess because she is the actual princess of the film. Anna's a Hufflepuff. She is literally me in a character. I am as hyperactive and dorky as her. You cannot tell me I'm not Anna, and you cannot tell me that Anna isn't a Hufflepuff. The reason I put her as Hufflepuff is because she's loyal, she's fair, she's just, and she just wants to be loved. And that's all a Hufflepuff ever wants. Finally, on to Moana, who I would say she's a Ravenclaw, because at the end of the day, all she wants is knowledge, and she's so independent, and she's so determined and quite wise by the end of the film. I can't really argue her in any other house because of her need to learn and need to understand the world, and how determined she is to step across this barrier that she is being trapped in. I feel like no other princess is as determined as her when it comes to learning about the world. For that reason, I'm going to put her as a Ravenclaw. Alright, so I hope you guys really enjoyed that video. Obviously, there will be a lot of areas where you'll probably disagree, but there might be some where you disagree. So please tell me below what you think. Tell me why you agree, why you disagree, or if you feel like some princesses are in hybrid houses, tell me why. I decided not to go into them, even though I feel like some would have fit in hybrid houses, just because I would have made it 10 times more complex for myself, and this video never would have ended. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!